Krishna, Hare Krishna. Welcome, dear devotees, to the Japa circle. Make Japa great again. Hare Krishna. So, yoga is the deliberate pulling upwards of the mind, to deliberately pull the mind upwards, because if you don't work on drawing your consciousness upwards and leave it to the material nature and its raw influence, the mind is eventually pulled downward into procrastination and depression. It's the nature of the world. As Krishna explains in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there's always a competition for supremacy in the modes. And by the nature, especially of Kali Yuga, the mind is generally pulled downwards, not upwards. And mantra, the two words together, means to liberate the mind. So we can think of today, in a form of a metaphor, that the mantra isn't like an aircraft. Of course, in the spiritual world, there are aircraft that are more subtle, and they're made of flowers. Description of flower airplanes. So not like the mechanical, clunky ones we have here that crash all the time. So the mantra is like a flower airplane. Okay, so far? Yes. Everyone's good? Okay, so it's ready to take us up, and we have to, of course, board the plane. That's our job. The aircraft comes, the flower airplane's there, but we have to be ready to board the plane. Means you have to have a ticket in hand, means enthusiasm to chant, and when you go to the airport, they announce certain things. They ask you questions before you get on board. One of them is, has anyone unknown to you given you anything to carry? Have they ever asked you that? They also ask you, did you pack your own bags? Or did anybody else pack them, put something in your bag? So when we're preparing to board the airplane, we have to know who gave us what's in our consciousness. Has our awareness been under our control at all times? Has anybody unknown to you, like some random person on the internet, on TikTok, given you something to hold in your mind of unknown origin? It was just random, because that could be dangerous. And so we have to prepare ourselves and get a ticket. In the United Airlines website for the boarding process, they say, we are dedicated to providing convenience and comfort throughout your journey with United, and are always looking for ways to improve your overall experience. So in the same way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wanting to give everyone an opportunity to board the flight back to Goloka Vrindavan, gives this convenience of the holy name that anybody can board. There are just a few simple rules to get on the flight. You have to be sincere, and you have to show up. And then there's avoiding the 10 offenses, a few prerequisites for boarding. So that's our part. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the ultimate convenience that in this age, all you have to do is chant Hare Krishna. There's no other process. It's very simple. And that's a great convenience for anyone. So don't miss the flight. And if anybody has ever missed a flight, I've missed 2 in my life that I can remember. The first one wasn't my fault. The second one was, and it's a demoralizing experience. So we have an opportunity right now in Kali Yuga where there's a major discount and the flight's leaving at a certain time. If you miss it, you may have to rebook There may be extra charges, penalties. The price may go way up, and you'll have to take it at another time. Om Tat Sat. So let's get ready to board and take the flight. Hare Krishna. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Garadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna. Just for a moment, any feedback you can give about what we started with the metaphor, any part that's stuck in your mind as applicable to your chanting process, or a way you want to extend the metaphor, or if you have another realization you can share. Pavani Bhakti, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. When you talked about the boarding of the flight and the air flight attendants asking you if somebody has put in something in your bag, I was thinking about what could that be. And I thought that, envy, and it could be envy, because envy is the most disqualification to enter Golok Vrindavan. And I was introspecting actually yesterday also about this, like how to avoid envy. And then I heard a lecture where they said that the way to avoid envy is to love all the devotees, starting from all the devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam. Because if you don't love devotees, then how can you work with devotees in service of Krishna when you go to Golok Vrindavan? So I was introspecting on that mood today while I was doing the chanting. So thank you for your good start. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you very much. They check you at the gate when you go through the security, see if you have any envy on you. Sorry, you can't go through. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I think today's metaphor was, I was really very, very happy. While I was chanting, I was just thinking about how accurate this metaphor is, because the first question when you go to the airport, they ask you, did you pack your bag? And I was wondering, am I being packed by somebody else, or is my consciousness is in my control? Is that somebody else is influencing me to a level which I could be somebody different, which I should not be. So first I need to make sure that I am who I am, and then whether the bag was in your possession all the time. How many times in the influence of the nature, the association, or where we are, we get. We don't know whether my consciousness was under my control. It was, I was there, but I was heavily influenced by something else. So I really like this one. I was feeling I need to do more introspective on this part and then see how best, what we say that it was in my possession, and it actually is in my possession. And then hopefully we get a pass to board the flight.
Has your consciousness been in your possession the whole time? Or did you lend it out somewhere else? Yeah.
Maharaj, the 11th offense is like being inattentive while chanting, and is so much important. Like when I see that when I'm chanting, that is the one offense that I can commit. All 10 also, but that is the most I can do. And similarly in the boarding the flight, inattentiveness is the, if you're inattentive for your timings or anything, you may just miss the flight. So we're just relating that 11th offense. Don't miss the flight. Hare Krishna.
Don't miss the flight. Okay. One more?
Hare Krishna.
Oh, yes.
I like the passport analogy with the chanting back and beat. So it was, it is very appropriate, and I always feel like I just want to hold this to travel.
Passport analogy? What was the passport?
Passport, yeah.
Which part was that?
You mentioned this, you showed the beadback saying this is the passport.
Oh yeah, boarding pass.
Yeah, sorry, boarding pass, sorry.
Could be passport either. You need a visa too, where we're going. I was thinking the other day, it's so hard to get a visa these days. We're just getting a visa for India. And you have to do so many workarounds. You have to know somebody also somewhere. You also have to get a sponsor for Americans. We have to get a sponsor in India who says, no, they're good. We'll take care of them when they get here and so forth. It's so hard to get a visa. You know, if you're emigrating to America, they give you all these difficulties. What is it called? H1, H1B, et cetera, and you have to do this, that, wait for 10, 20 years before they'll say yes. What to speak of going to the spiritual world? You have to have a visa. So you have to go through the visa process. You get to the airport, you don't have a visa. They just send you back again. So you go back. Aruya Krishna Parampadam Tata Patantyato Nadrata Yushmanangraya. Bhagavatam says, unless you actually have a relationship with Krishna, you're going to be sent back to what your position was before. It's nothing solid. No, it's not a good visa unless you have that Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti is our only visa process. And the main point is, look up that verse from Karbhajana Muni, 11th canto, Karbhajana about Sankirtan. Do you know it? Just get it in the shloka book. It's in the shloka book. It says in the Kali Yuga, it's a special time because those who know the essence of this age, they know that just by the Harinam, then you get everything you were hoping for. Sarva Swarto Bilabhyate. Could you just tell me the verse? Kalim sabhagayancharya gunagya sarabhagina yatra sankirtane naiva sarva swarto bilabhyate. Sarva swarta. All your artists, all your in desires, your important values, sarva, all of them, sarva swarto bilabhyate. They'll be fulfilled by one thing, by the chanting process in this age of Kali because of special dispensation. So don't miss the sale. Any last thing? Yes.
Remembering His Grace, Madhvanand Prabhu says the similar, like when we go to the Dham, he says that the passport is a spiritual master who is identifying you that, okay, he is the right person to come in, and the visa is the holy name. That holy name is the one, that is you take shelter, and then all you can be in the Dham.
Yes, I've been thinking about that a lot lately because Giriraj Maharaj published a piece on his Facebook about how powerful is the Guru's pranam mantra. It's your entry. You saw that? Yes. It's more powerful than all the other mantras. And so I think about that a lot. And just waking up in the morning and saying Prabhupada's pranam mantra, and then the Panchatattva mantra, and then Hare Krishna. I think only these three things necessary for a complete entrance into the spiritual world. 3 mantras lined up. But it's definitely our passport. The first 2 mantras, the Guru Pranam mantra, and then having the Panchatattva mantra. Otherwise, how can we enter into Hare Krishna? Nice points. Let's chant for a few more minutes. Oh yes, Prabhu. Ashok Krishna, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance. I was just thinking about the point you made about don't miss the flight, because I remember speaking to you last year, thinking about, is this too early to take shelter, or is it too early to think of initiation? And I clearly remember the vivid words you mentioned that this is your only opportunity. If you don't take it, it might not come again. So this is exactly what you again reiterated there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, when I'm taking a flight, you got to be there on time. Cab comes, you got to be there. You got to get to the gate. You have to get on the flight. So Kali Yuga's there. It's a special age. Offering is open. Don't miss it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Only a couple minutes left before we greet the deities. But I was just reading through United's instructions about the boarding process. And they mentioned listen for your boarding group number. So when we're practicing devotional service, atashi krishnamadi nabhaved grayam indre, sevamukhi jivado swayameva spratyada. We do our part to chant Krishna's names with sincerity. We have to listen. Krishna's calling us in a certain direction for service. Listen carefully. What's he telling us through the devotees, through the Shastra, and then act accordingly. And they also talk about priority boarding. If you want to avoid the lines and board earlier, then make sure you're in a priority group. So priority means there's a fast track in devotional service, becoming aligned through Shastra, having a bona fide spiritual master, following the 4 regulative principles. These put you in the priority group. You can board now. And so this carefully living so that one can have this ticket in hand and be ready to get on the flight is the process of devotional service. And the whole process is dependent on Krishna's mercy. And Krishna's mercy is manifested in this flower airplane that comes for us in the form of the holy name. Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaur Premanande Haribo, Vancha Kalpatarusha, Kripa Sindhave Vacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.